the advantages that Africa really hosts. And you can see the journey that we've had here in terms of the way we were first portrayed as the hopeless continent in the early 2000s. Then there was the whole Africa Rising, then Aspiring Africa. But now we're at a space where people are really questioning the strength of Africa and all that they hoped, because we were often compared against the emerging tigers of Asia and how that growth had actually come through. And I think if you look between 2000 and now, and you look at, say, for example, the per capita income changes, they've not been as quick as maybe the experience was in Asia. Yeah? And I think that's largely really around governance and some of the other issues that we talk about on a day-to-day basis. But fundamentally, you've still got this 1.2 billion people who are 1.2 billion consumers, second largest population in the world, 3.3 trillion in GDP. But what's exciting is we have 3 of the world's fastest growing countries. Yeah? And the question is really, how do we transform that into creation of more jobs and improvement of the lives and livelihoods of the people who live in these countries? And I think just moving us along, what this slide is showing here is when we think about Kenya, Kenya has been fortunate through a series of specific interventions, plus also our location, to have got global attention. And what's exciting is that Kenya is second to South Africa in terms of foreign direct investment, which is a material change in the past. And that's reflected there by the number of projects that you can see, 85 projects in terms of foreign direct investment into the country. And I think it's one of the new corridors to sub-Saharan Africa because of our geographic location. It gives access as a base going forward. And it's a fairly diversified economy. And coming to the foreign direct investment, one of the things that came out, and Alikan, you were with me in this very hotel, is Nairobi has now surpassed even Johannesburg in terms of foreign direct investment, which I think is a major milestone and shows really the positivity in terms of which people are thinking about that. And that's reflected here on this slide in terms of many multinationals setting up base here in the country. And you can see 30 global multinationals. And that, I think, is encouraging because what happens behind that means people come here, they move here, they set up offices, they rent space, they rent houses, they employ people, which I think is part of the global story as we move forward.